It has been... trillion years? We don't know. Once you reach this level, I guess time flows differently. We didn't feel we were ready, but the blasted destroyer found another humanity, and we decided what we learned would have to suffice. We cannot let it destroy another humanity. Not again. Our story starts at year 2200. We started to explore space, had spaceships, had space conflicts, you know, the usual for a new spacefaring civilization. We lost contact with one of our outposts in the Andromeda Galaxy with a peculiar message. Run. When we got there, we found everything destroyed for no reason. You have to know, we didn't achieve first contact, so we were suspicious. Was this some kind of pirate raid? But the outpost was merely some scientists, nothing of special value to a raider. We couldn't recover many logs. The only thing we could gather was that the occupants were really afraid. Then it happened again, this time near a peaceful but relatively well-defended planet. Again, a message telling us to run, and only ruins, every one of 1 billion inhabitants dead. We should have known, but even had we prepared, there was fat chance we could have done anything at all. And after the same happened 5 times, we saw a pattern, and were concerned. We prepared a valiant defense, dreadnoughts, battleships, carriers, all in all 10,000 ships, 3% of our forces, but still sizable. Then they appeared, tentacled black ships trickling slowly. We shot them down in droves, but the trickle kept increasing, and ships gradually became bigger until they dwarfed even our massive dreadnoughts, beasts 20 kilometers in length, and sporting at least 1,000mm cannons. We fought hard, tooth and nail, but they kept coming, their red lances either chipping at our armor, or simply cleaving them in half. After 6 hours, all 10,000 ships were destroyed, and the ships launched pods at the planet we were supposed to defend. The horror forms overran the planet eventually, supported by their ships that struck at planetary defenses. Nothing was left, and the forms eventually coalesced into a fluid mass and returned to their ships. We fought for 20 years, using everything we could. Geneva Conventions be damned. But what can you do against countless mass that cannot be thinned? Our cannons roared, missiles struck. We took down ship after ship, but for every one we took down, at least 20 took their place. There was no shortage of volunteers. We increased our fleet tenfold, created massive ships 100 kilometers in length, but in the end we could only delay the inevitable. And there was nowhere to run. The things had numbers on their side, so our only option was to defend. I was there when our last world, our cradle, Earth, was the last world we had left. I decided on a last-ditch option, merge with an AI. This was frowned upon because upon merging, the AI and human would seek dominance over each other reflexively, thus slowly and painfully destroying each other, leaving lobotomized husks. But I felt I had no choice, so without anyone knowing, I went for it. I convinced the AI we had no choice. We are dead anyway, and our common cause may just be enough to keep our heads clear and prevent complete mental degradation, and the AI agreed. We suffered for 5 years, each of us trying to gain control over the other, and the experience was intensely painful. But that seed, the common goal, helped us not to overpower each other fully. And after 5 years, we reached an equilibrium. The first ever joining of an AI and human had happened. But by this point it was far too late. The monsters were about to descend upon Earth. However, we had a unique way to think. The AI provided speed, ability to simulate anything, perfect memory, connecting bits of information into one whole, and basically every other thing a computer and AI is good at, with an innate human ability to jump to the truth, without evidence, and simply stumble on truths illogically, as well as the ability to think outside the box. So we had an idea. What if there was a space where we could transfer the whole of our mind, safe from detection and attack? The human part of me came up with the idea that there is a quantum space that humans can somehow access and get their ideas, and the AI side of me calculated and researched and found it. And at the last moment we ascended, became pure energy, and now our consciousness was in that quantum space with infinite space and processing power. So as Earth was finally destroyed, we decided we would avenge humanity against whatever killed humanity. We used quantum entanglement to track the signature of the monster ships, and how it destroyed whole civilizations throughout the many universes, learning all we could about the enemy. And we also figured out how to create pocket universes, by creating a compressed bubble that contained massive amounts of information, seeding it with volatile energy and igniting it, thus creating a brand new pocket universe. We used these, as well as accelerating time inside it relative to us, to create two factions that would fight for total domination, with varying rules. One side wholly human, one side wholly AI, and any variation of it thereof. Have them run, and incorporate the data of winning side into our memory. We ran millions of these simulations at the same time every second, gaining more and more knowledge about warfare that put to shame anything humanity, throughout its total existence, created. So we observed and simulated for trillions of years, coming up with new technologies while keeping it decidedly human. Blocky ships, kinetic weapons. Only energy weapons are what we had, such as lasers, and those based on theories we had, such as quantum physics, in order to make sure the monsters knew who fought them. We created railguns capable of firing nearly at the speed of light, neutronium alloy that was basically metal where the atoms were so tightly connected as to be impenetrable, energy or matter curtains that allowed energy and matter to pass one way, from ship towards enemy, while simply blocking energy and matter, while allowing matter and energy of a certain wavelength and total energy to pass, like light, meaning even black holes couldn't harm our ships, for all energy was blocked while always staying at 100%, since no additional energy was needed to block making our ships indestructible to anything we could think of. Creating a quantum wave entangling every atom in the universe, thus keeping track of every enemy ship in the universe, and matter-energy converters able to convert matter and energy directly. This all meant that ships could use pocket universes for power, and create matter out of thin air, using all that energy from a pocket universe. And this brings us to today. The monsters found a universe with other humans in it, complete with another Earth. We didn't feel we were totally ready, but no more. We materialized shipyards powered by pocket universes, in reality simple metal cylinders using energy from the pocket universe to create ships, and started insta-spamming ships, from kilometer-long destroyers up to 100,000 kilometer-long dreadnoughts, armed to the teeth, all indestructible. After the quantum ping was sent, we knew the enemy's positions, and using quantum entanglement, simply teleported ships as they were made towards the enemy. Railguns firing many times per second, near speed of light, exploding inside enemy ships so as not to hit planets when they passed through, started devastating the enemies. Countless missiles streaked towards the enemy, overwhelming them. High-powered lasers defended against smaller ships. Small-yield pocket universes devastated entire solar systems worth of enemies with every shot. And as their losses mounted, the enemy went all in. A complete universe full of red enemy blips, but they were yet to destroy even a single of our ships, while they were dying in droves. So we entertained them. Jumping from one place to another instantly frustrated them. We needed them to commit fully and totally, and once the enemy was fully committed, we locked the universe. Nothing could get out now. The enemy was trapped. It was time to release the most fearsome weapon we developed. As we would later find out, whatever was destroyed by this weapon cannot be recreated at all, not even with the power of a god. So after 3 days of intense fighting, where we didn't lose even a single ship, we fired it. The universe gun. It acted on atomic level, by changing the polarity of electrons and generally breaking atomic bonds, with the potential to destroy an entire universe. So when the enemy was down to 5 uninhabited galaxies, we fired the weapon, destroying everything there as if it wasn't there at all. The enemy ships were as they never existed, as well as all the planets and stars with nothing there. And as we fought them, we analysed. We finally found the enemy. Its domain. It wasn't like our quantum domain, unlimited. but was still vast. So what did we do? We produced a galaxy-sized God Destroyer that had a railgun inside it that pops out. That was the entire length of the ship. Firing a slug that was as near the speed of light as possible, bound to the target in every way, including phase, meaning there was no way to escape it once you're targeted. And if that wasn't all, the bullet had a pocket universe inside it that was rigged to explode on command, unleashing a whole universe's energy in the middle of the intended target. So he sent the ship to the domain, and found the being on the throne angry and frustrated. It couldn't pull out of the universe. Then it saw the ship, raised its hand, and a huge crimson ray appeared that was harmlessly blocked by the energy matter curtain. Then the ship's top slided open, and a cannon appeared on top. The beam fired all that it could at the ship, frantically trying to destroy it, but no energy could pass through the curtain. And boom! The railgun fired, the universe exploded, and since the universe was made to be opposite of the composition of the enemy god, it was annihilated utterly without a trace. The scream could be heard throughout universes, and then it was found out there was no more depression, irrational anger, and so on, since the being cultivated them and fed on them.